An Australian rugby player, a Bachelor contestant, a 2-book epic fantasy deal from Atria, Australia, and the reading and writing world and authors all around are absolutely losing it.
Hello, BookTok. I've just signed a 2-book deal with Atria.
But he is an example of a white mediocrity issue in publishing.
A white, male, very attractive booktalker.
White mediocrity.
Everything that is wrong with traditional publishing.
I waited for 3.5 years. White man did it in 1 week.
A white man broke into that.
A white man?
Of rewarding mediocrity.
If you have been straight male,
and you hyped up another mediocre white man. Conventionally attractive white man.
White man did it in 1 week. White man did it.
She texted me this morning, and she shows me that this man, he is a man.
Alright, with all that out of the way, let's talk about what's actually happening here and whether or not you should be concerned. Hi, welcome back to Orbiting the Shelf. My name's Matthew Van Loo, and before we get started, I know what you're thinking. Hi, it's me again, and I was in the middle of editing this video, and I went to the gym to take a break, and because it takes forever to edit these things, you can see the aftermath of like all of my chopping and clipping behind me on my desktop that's usually very nice and clean, and I keep seeing more and more videos of all of these people who are absolutely outraged over this topic. It went from the sample size of like 30 that I chopped up for this video to like literally hundreds, and I'm not going to go back and re-edit the video to include all of those in the funny like little rage bait compilation I made in the beginning, but it's all the same thing. Everybody is so outraged at the thought of these mediocre white men being promoted and seeming to be given their free meal ticket to success, and that's all we're talking about right now. Mediocre white men and male privilege and how it's the fault of men that this is happening. And this was meant to be a relatively middle-of-the-road opinion piece video, but you know, I've kind of got something to say now. And with that being said, if you are a racist, if you are an ignorant person, if you are a misogynist, just go ahead and leave. This isn't a safe space for you. This rant isn't an excuse for you to be here and muddying up my comment section with your gross right-wing filth and debauchery. You are not welcome here. You are probably the only person who is not welcome here. I often reply to hate comments. I am very kind to people who vigorously hate me and what I have to say, but I will not be kind to you. This is not an excuse for you. This is not a safe space for you. Please leave. And it's not an airport. Don't feel like you have to announce your departure. With that being said, I wanted to get into this. Right now, everybody's blaming this issue on men, and that is incredibly unfair. This person was already like a C or D list celebrity when they hopped over to TikTok. They were already famous. They were already going to accumulate a following. And with that being said, the reason they came to your guys' community, the reason they came to the smut community and the spicy community and the romantasy community is because you guys are so easy to take advantage of. You don't police your community whatsoever. You are incredibly irresponsible with your consumption, and you have absolutely propped up these dangerous trends and these dangerous markets, and you are the base for all of the problems going on in your community right now. You have created a marketplace for publishers with the demand that can absolutely never be satiated. Publishers could never pump out enough generic AI drivel romantasy and smut. They could never keep up with your appetite for ever increasing thresholds of spice in your books, and you consume all of it, bad, good, and you defend it with your absolute lives. And then a pretty man comes along and goes, oh hey, look at me, I represent the 5% of men who read this stuff and I'm really pretty, go ahead and give me a following. And you're blaming men, but men did not prop up this person. Women are 90% of his following. You and your community alone are responsible for propping up this individual, for giving them a platform in this community you claim to hold so dear, and you guys guys don't police your community at all. You don't police problematic voices. You don't police problematic authors. You pretend to care sometimes, but that's where it ends. You can blame men all you want, but you have given this individual a voice, you have given them an audience, you have given them a market, and you have given them guaranteed keys to success. Why are you mad at the publisher who is capitalizing on all of the attention and marketability you've given this person? It's not their fault, it's yours. And this is why I say that I welcome Romantasy, I welcome smut readers. I'm super glad to have more people dedicated to the world of literature, but your appetites are so voracious and so unchecked and so dangerous that it leads to incredibly problematic situations like this where you guys get mad and take absolutely no accountability. I'm a horror author. I'm Hispanic, I'm indigenous, I come from a very unique, poverty-stricken part of the country, and I always make it my mission to police my community when I can. Even if it leads to me getting hate, even if it leads to me getting a bunch of really nasty comments, when somebody in the horror community comes out and publishes absolute AI-generated trash that displays incredibly gratuitous violence against women, and it's just absolutely trash, I always call that out. I always say, hey, this is problematic and you shouldn't platform this person, you shouldn't give them your money. And I'm just curious why you guys never do the same. The only reason this person got this insanely lucrative deal and is seeming to get fast-tracked when other people aren't is because you propped him up. Your appetites that created the trend, created this person, platformed him, told publishers it was a good idea to market him, to give him a book deal because they know it will sell. Even if it's trash, it will sell. I mean, look at books like anything written by Rebecca Yarros, that Silver Elite book that was trending, Quicksilver. You guys promote trash at such an unhinged level, it's insane. And then you defend it with your lives. Everything going wrong in your community is because of you and your reluctance to say anything negative about really problematic shit. Now, we can go ahead and blame men, but men didn't prop this guy up. Men do not make up this guy's following. Men will not buy this guy's books. Men do not follow the spicy marketplace trends. Men do not write these books. Men do not participate in your community. We can shout male privilege from the tops of the roof, but ultimately at the end of the day, we're not platforming this guy. You are. And all of the performative activist vultures have swooped down from the roost to voice their opinions on this matter. Oh, what about BIPOC authors, they say? What about women of color? What about indigenous voices? What about all of these people? And you swoop down to capitalize on a trending topic with all of your hashtags and all of your AI-generated SEO-heavy descriptions, and you make so much money in AdSense and views and comments and likes, and it's disgusting. All of you want to look like good people, right? You come out of the woodworks when a controversy happens and you capitalize it, and you are no better than this man you're pretending to hate and the system you're pretending to hate. You participate in it. You are the foundation of this system's evil roots. And out of all these people making these videos on TikTok and BookTube right now going, this is outrageous, what about BIPOC authors, what about indie authors? I scrolled through every single one of your pages, and out of 112 creators who made a video on this subject, 4 of you, 4, maybe 5 if I'm forgetting one, I'll be generous and say 5 even. 5 of you ever actually platform indie authors. 5 of you out of 112 have ever made a video about BIPOC voices, Hispanic voices, indie authors. You know what all of those creators' videos consisted of when I went through them? Sarah J. Maas, Rebecca Yarros, Quicksilver, Silver Elite. There is not a single video on any of your channels about the issues you claim to care so much about every time drama pops up, every time something problematic happens. The performance activism on social media is so absurd, it drives me crazy. The performance activist vultures who swoop down to gain followers and social credit every time something like this happens, in my opinion, are worse than the perpetrators of the male privilege being demonstrated right now. You are the embodiment of all of these horrible systemic capitalistic issues you claim to hate. As soon as something bad happens, you swoop in on it to make your money, and then you leave, and your next video isn't about indigenous voices or Palestine or social issues or indie authors. You know what it's about? My top 10 spiciest books of the year. Why Rebecca Yaros's book could have used more spice. Oh, why Sarah J. Maas, blah, 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 blah. It's just bull. You go straight back to making your bullshit content, and none of these indie authors you claim to care about, none of these diverse voices you claim to care about are ever mentioned again. You got your money, you got your views, you got your followers, and you dip. And you won't be back until the next thing happens. And you're going to go right back to doing what you always do. You're going to platform these problematic people, you're going to defend trash with your life, and you're just going to sit and wait and hoard all of your content until the next piece of drama drops. And then you're going to go back to being a good person who really cares about these people. When it comes to Romantasy, you make up like 90% of the reader base. When it comes to BookTok, you make up like 75% of all viewers. When it comes to agents, most of the agents are female. Most of the people who work in these publishing houses are female. Most writers are female. Most book buyers are female. So with that in mind, how dare you blame this on male privilege? There are a lot of horrific issues in this world where male privilege, systemic racism, and the silencing of BIPOC voices actually occur. And sure, men, white men specifically, absolutely to blame in most of the world's problems. But how dare you sit here in your gate-kept industry and pretend like it's our fault? Don't shift blame so that you don't have to take absolutely any of it anytime this happens. You and your unpoliced community are the problem. Now, if you want to turn around and talk about gatekeeping BIPOC voices and female voices in male-dominated niches like sci-fi, sure, all day. That happens. Sci-fi is dominated by men. They don't want to hear BIPOC voices. They don't want to see sci-fi epics about black women. That happens. I will yield to absolutely any point that has a smidgen, a monochrome of proof and evidence and statistics behind it. But this issue, you want to tell me what's plaguing Romantasy right now and publishing for that genre right now is me and other men? Absolutely not. That is all on you. And it's time for BookTok and all of these creators who come out of the woodworks to voice opinions and then go right back in as soon as the drama ends, need to learn to take some accountability. Now, if you want to sit here and tell me to take accountability for the problems that plague sci-fi and horror, I absolutely will. As a horror author, I will sit here all day and talk about the gratuitous violence against women in horror books. I will talk about exploitation in horror books. I will take responsibility for my community any fucking day of the week. And that goes for anything I'm a part of. But this is not on me. And with that being said, knowing every single one of you creators coming out of the woodworks to get your follows right now is immediately going to turn back around and platform all of the problematic people you care about and fire up your Kindle and read all of your Rebecca Yaros books and your Sarah J. Maas books and your Harry Potter books and everything else you claim to be problematic. And tomorrow you're going to make a video talking about your top 10 spiciest books, your top 10 favorite characters, and whatever Romantasy just released. Oh my gosh, is Silver Elite AI generated? I'll still be here. And here's my commitment to all these people you claim to care about. I'm a small channel. I have 110 followers. I get like 50 to 150 views per video if I'm lucky. A couple have scraped like 400 to 600. I just hit 100 subscribers with 110 now. Here is my business email. If you're a BIPOC author, if you're a woman of color, if you're an indie author or an aspiring author who feels like your voice is being suppressed, your opinion is being suppressed, you are being ostracized from publishing and nobody wants to publish your book because of who you are and you have something valuable to say, here is my business email. By all means, send me your book and we're going to start a new series called Indie Author Highlights. And if absolutely none of you TikTok activists who actually pretend to genuinely care about these people will platform them, I will. And you know what? We'll grow big together. I only have 110 subscribers, but I will absolutely dedicate my time to making sure your voice is heard and you're not left in the dust by all of these drama vultures who swoop down and pretend to care about you and then leave the second this drama isn't hot anymore. I am super, super busy. I go to grad school, I work, I have internships, I write books, I have this channel, but I will dedicate 2 videos a month starting out to indie authors who are in need of help. Send me a PDF of your book so I can make a Word document about it. Send me an EPUB of your book so that I can read it on my Kindle, and I promise I will read 1/3 of your book at least. Just because I'm super busy and I still have to do my other stuff, I will read 1/3 of your book. I will give a good opinion on it, so long as it's not absolutely trash. I will promote it, I will say your name, and together, we in this community will actually do something about the issues that plague it, instead of just making money off of it, making followers off of it, and then disappearing into the ether as soon as everything's cleared up, just to swoop in once the next thing starts. That's my promise to you. I will platform indie authors, I will platform BIPOC authors, I will platform women authors, I will platform everyone. All 112 of you who have made videos about this today and counting absolutely refuse to do, but claim we should. Anyways, that's my rant. I don't want to keep going. I probably just added an extra 15 minutes onto this video. Thank you for listening to me, and we'll get back to like my normal friendly content now. Thanks. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's talk about what's actually happening here and whether or not you should be concerned. Hi, welcome back to Orbiting the Shelf. My name's Matthew Van Loo, and before we get started, I know what you're thinking. Don't worry, and it will be addressed. You're thinking to yourself, oh boy, another white man with a white name with a YouTube channel giving his opinion on white people getting privileged positions in the industry of publishing and book social media and all of the other things that go along with this. I am so tired of hearing opinions from these people, and let me explain really fast before we get into things. My mother is Mexican and Native American. My dad's white. Don't know the guy. I'm sure he's fine. I took his last name because it's way cooler than Quintana. My mother was born on the Navajo reservation to my grandmother, who was Navajo, went to Native boarding schools, forced to learn how to function in white society, had her culture stripped away. She was born on the Navajo reservation to my great-grandmother, who lived in a hogan, married off when she was 13 years old, and she was born to my also Navajo great-great-grandmother, who was a baby on the Trail of Tears, who was born to my great-great-great-grandmother, who was a full-grown woman on the Trail of Tears. I come from a long, unbroken line of Navajo women living on the Navajo reservation. It's where I grew up. It's where I went to school. It's where I go to grad school. Well, the college and grad school are like 10 miles away from the reservation, but it's a community I'm deeply entrenched in. I know my clans. I'm deeply rooted in the culture. I'm deeply rooted in the community. I didn't grow up with a single white person in my house other than my step grandpa who married into my family. Great guy. I've never really been submerged in whiteness or communities of white people. And if you ask me what I identify as, it would be Hispanic, because I grew up with my indigenous maternal side and the Hispanic side from my grandfather, who is Mexican through and through. So with that being said, I promise you're not just getting a whitewashed opinion from a white man trying to do damage control for his community. I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing, or a sheep in wolf's clothing, maybe? I think that's probably more accurate. But with the disclaimer out of the way, let's jump right into the video. Now, if you are employed and this isn't your job like it's mine, and you're not trying to get famous in the world of books and publishing and book social media, and you're a normal person and you're watching this going, Matt, I follow you for sci-fi and fantasy reviews. What in the world is going on? Well, this is Luke Bateman, and he is a super famous Australian rugby player and former Bachelor contestant who is super beautiful, super kind, and super fucking famous. And recently he announced that he got a 2-book deal to write an epic fantasy series through Atria, Australia. And it was a big deal. And allegedly he's tried to come forth to publishers before and go, hey, I'm famous, I'm hot, give me a book deal. And they've gone, you don't have a manuscript, we're good, we're gonna hold off. Well, he came to BookTok and he started in like mid-April, I want to say. Made one video, got a boatload of followers, and he's been doing super well ever since. And people are upset because now that he's BookTok famous and he has a huge BookTok following of absolutely rabid romantasy smut reader girlies, his management company reached out to a bunch of publishers and went, I know you denied us before, but now we have a following of TikTok girls who really, really like fantasy, especially Romantasy. Do you want to work with us now? And naturally, with a massive audience who is ravenous about this man and the genre he resides in, the publisher went, you know what? We can sell this book pretty easy, even if it's trash. We're going to go ahead and give this guy a deal. You have like 22 months to write it or something like that. And if you're even slightly aware of the process of writing, especially epic fantasy, you know 20 months is not a very long time. That's a pretty short window to world build, to character craft, and to get all of this onto paper, revise it, have beta readers go over it, get input, have editors go over it. That's a tight time period. That's something maybe the most ravenous authors could get done. I'm a pretty fast writer and editor. Once I have an idea, I brainstorm it out, it gets onto paper. I usually write like 4,500 words per day, and then I slow down towards the end when I'm having to tie things up, and then it'll usually take me another month or two to edit, but that is not the norm. So a lot of people are speculating this dude is going to have a co-author. Well, a co-author, but he has no manuscript, he has no previous works, so people have absolutely nothing to go off of, and all of this speculation is pretty much in the dark. All we can say about the dude is that he's hot, he's nice, and he's famous. And so that leaves me with the question, why are people so mad? Well, as you've seen in all the TikToks I spliced in at the beginning of the video to get you hooked and rage bait you, it's because he got this massive book deal from a well-known publisher with absolutely no work. No concepts, no ideas, no manuscript, no previous work to be judged off of. His merit was based entirely on his following. And this is people mad. And it is only aggravated by the fact that he's white and that he's a man. Now, these are two things I want to address right away. And once again, I have absolutely no love for the patriarchy or systemic racism, which very much exist, especially right now with our current political climate. But I just want to say, in my opinion, I don't think that's what's going on here at all. I think publishing is one of the only industries in the world right now where white men are sort of DEI hires. A pretty large majority of all authors are women. Men are the minority pretty much year over year since like 2009, 2010, somewhere like that. Most books these days are written by women for women, and the only areas where men really dominate is like epic fantasy and science fiction. And even then, if you ask modern readers who their favorite epic fantasy writer is, they'd probably say Sarah J. Maas. And this is only further aggravated by the whole querying process. Most agents today really, really want to work with marginalized groups with unique voices who have unique things to say. They're not really interested in publishing men, especially white men. Even right now, as I am editing and querying, I've already talked to an agent who was like, I love your story, it's got roots, it's got guts, it's really good, but I don't think it's a fit for me. And when I asked why, they're like, we're just not really in the mood to publish white men right now. You guys are overrepresented. I want to spend my time pushing other authors. And then I give them the spiel and I go, I'm Navajo and Mexican. I know my clans. I live in this community. I was born on the reservation. I am very involved with my community, and this book is a love letter to my community, the issues that stem from it, and I am giving voice to sort of this very specific region of Southwest Colorado and northern New Mexico. This is a book that hasn't been really represented anywhere before. And then they turn around and tell me, okay, well, that's good to know. You'll definitely find a better match in the future. I just don't want to work with men right now. I want to focus on women and women of color. And I go, okay, that sucks. That feels kind of slimy, especially once I told you all that I told you. But whatever, I yield, I rest my case. I'm a man who has always worked in female-dominated fields outside of my time in the army. I'll make my own way by my own merits. And this is sort of the norm when querying, when pushing your work towards publishing agencies. Traditional publishing is an absolute hellhole for everybody right now. And it's the first time ever that white men really get to feel that struggle also, of having your work judged very harshly, of having very selective people who don't want to work with you, telling you blatantly, I don't want to work with you because of who you are. Whatever, that's fair. As long as we're all struggling, we all have an equal amount of representation. I don't think the issue here is gender and race. Rather, I think it's something I've been talking about in quite a few videos recently about the publishing industry and the problems it has. And what they see right now is opportunity and marketing. Romantasy is super, super hot. Fantasy is super, super hot. And there are hordes and hordes of women who are very, very hungry to get their hands on these books. And we're seeing them pump out absolute garbage right now. Like the book that just came out recently, Silver Elite or something like that, and it was plagued with controversy. It was a pen name. It felt like it was AI written, and my opinion on it was that it was probably a ghostwriter or an AI written book that the publisher just cranked out to make a couple easy mil, and that's a concerning trend recently. This market is so hot that people are ravenous to consume, and publishers are ravenous to put things out as fast as possible to capitalize on it. Now, what Luke has done is he is a hot man. He is a famous man, he is a recognizable man, and then he has come over to BookTok and established an absolutely insurmountable following of ravenous spice girlies who want nothing but more and more romantasy on their feeds. Now they have a hot author writing a hot book to a hot market, and they have to capitalize on this. I mean, quite literally, even if the book is absolute trash, the entire spicy romantasy community is going to buy it, the entire female fantasy community is going to buy it, and even people like me are gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it because I have a YouTube channel and it's a hot topic, and I am definitely gonna capitalize on that with some clickbait, and so is everybody else in this industry trying to get famous. So just to reiterate, I don't think this is a gender and race issue. I think this is a marketing issue and a trend issue that speaks to the larger concerns of publishing and writing and authors right now, and it's super easy to be mad. I get it. I lived half of my life with my mother near the Navajo reservation, and then I lived the other half in Texas with my very, very dark-skinned Mexican family in a sundown town that still had racist signs up. I have absolutely no love for the system or the people who built it, and it is so easy to let that hate consume you and work its way into every single social issue that you're passionate about. It's super easy to feel like it's corrupting everything that you love, and in a lot of instances, it is, but I just don't think that's the issue here, even though that's what everybody's focusing on. And trust me, I know how easy it is to give into that hate. I have been ostracized from friends and families for being the crazy, overly passionate liberal son and friend and acquaintance. In today's political climate, I am not well liked, and I'm cut off from pretty much everybody I know because I am so angry all the time about all of this. Now, if someone like me is able to step back and say, okay, I don't think that's the issue here, I think maybe just hear me out and give some consideration to the opinion. It's probably not because he's white and male. And if you can't hear me out there, at least hear me out here when I say that white men are not his following. They are not the people responsible for propping this man up. They have absolutely nothing to do with this guy. This issue, even if the head of this issue is a white man and that's what you want to buy into, the people propping him up certainly are not. Now, on to the next part. If you're like me and you're an author in the absolute trenches of querying, you've started social media as a means to prop up your name, prop up your book, because you know publishers want people with audiences. I feel your struggle. It is hard. It's hard not to get angry. And this is something I see with creatives across the board in every aspect of our society. I have lots of friends from the Army who wanted to be DJs, and they went out and do that, and they fucking hate other DJs. I have lots of friends who are artists, and anytime another artist has success, they just hate other artists. And that's something we're very prone to as creative people, trying to make their way in a capitalist society. As soon as someone else has success, we go, they don't deserve it, it should have been me. And that comes from a selfish place because most creative people are selfish people. That's sort of the reality of being a creative person trying to make money off of your work. There will always be a tinge of selfishness in creative people, and comparison is something that runs rampant through every community of creatives. Anytime anyone has success, we go, what I create is better. Why haven't I had success? Anytime someone on YouTube puts out the same video I put out and it's an unedited iPhone shot where they just hold their phone over a book and talk for 45 minutes and they stutter, they don't cut anything out, they don't do any editing, I go, that's what's going on? I made a way better video. I have professional sound equipment. I have professional lighting. I have a painting with my channel logo. I have 2 monitors. I deserve to be successful. I have 2 monitors. And these are sort of the attitudes that take joy away from creatives all the time. And it's an issue I want to say probably over 90% of us fall victim to. And so right now, all of us are going, this guy doesn't have an idea. He doesn't have a manuscript. I've been in the querying trenches for years. This is bullshit. I deserve, and other people deserve this opportunity, and he's stealing it from us. And in a way, I suppose that is sort of true. And in this instance, because it's true, it's so hard to cope with. But one thing I would say is the world of writing and publishing is not like music. It's not like video games. It's not like art. Good authors always get discovered. Even if you have to pump out your first couple of books self-published before a traditional publisher looks at you and goes, oh, his work is really good. We should pick him or her or they up and market it and push it and put it on bookstore shelves. We need to give this person a chance. Good authors always get discovered. And maybe it gets to the point where you've become so successful self-publishing or indie publishing that you no longer wish to participate in that world. Great for you. You've broken the shackles. I am incredibly jealous. I aspire to that more than I do traditional publishing, but that's not really the reality for everybody. But all of this is just to say, if your book is good and you work hard and you keep trying and you never give up on yourself, you will get there. You will find success indie publishing. You will find success self-publishing. You will find success traditional publishing. As long as your work is good, you will be discovered. As long as you never give up on it, you will get there. It's not like music where no matter how hard you work, no matter how good your music is, there's a huge chance you never get discovered. Same with art, same with video games. We are very blessed as authors to be in a creative space where recognition for talented people is the norm and not the exception. So if you are super angry about this news and you just keep fuming and it stems from a place of why me, I promise your time will come. Think about authors like, I forgot his name, but the guy who wrote The Fisherman. Think about authors like M.L. Wong. Lots and lots of super famous, super renowned authors started self-publishing because publishers didn't want to give them a chance. And then it blew up. It got successful and they went, oh, my bad. I promise there is room for you. And if you're a person like me who is mixed race or non-white and you fall outside of the typical zones of power and you think to yourself, man, this just took an opportunity away from me. This just took food off of my table. I promise you it didn't. In the world we live in of never-ending capitalistic growth, never-ending expansion, constantly growing markets, constantly hungry CEOs and execs and publishers, there is always room for you. And this is more than doubly true in the world we live in. I promise you, Atria didn't call up this guy and go, oh, give him a book deal, and then hang up the phone and turn to their secretary and go, hey, get rid of one black lady so we can put this white guy up here. I promise you, there will always be room for you in this industry, and it may not feel like it right now because of the political climate we live in and a lot of the trends we're seeing in markets, but I promise you there is always room for you. And this one guy did not take away an opportunity that could have been given to you. That opportunity for you still exists, I promise. And as far as to his future successes go, he may write an amazing book. He may be an amazing author. We don't know. And you know, sort of the thing in the world of books is if you're not successful, you're getting ousted. They're not going to continue to push an industry plant in the world of publishing like they would music and TV and all the other things. If his book flops, and its merits don't hold up and his audience doesn't show up for him, it's going to be a trial by fire. If he fails, he fails. If he does well, he does well. Publishing in that regard is very honest because there's not a bunch of money to go around to pad failures. So rest assured knowing his career hinges on his success just like all the rest of us. And that's not to say that if your book failed, you're a bad author. Even George Martin's first book failed and he was ousted from publishing forever. So he was given a golden ticket, for sure, because of his fame, his looks, and his social status. But that golden ticket only gives him entry to publish a book. If that book, once published, doesn't do well, that golden ticket is yanked. And the same applies for you and for me and for everybody else. So rest assured, even though he got fast-tracked to publishing, he's still gonna have to make an honest living just like the rest of us. So with all of that being said, if you're a person like me who's very passionate, very socially aware, and you're just so full of anger right now, and you're just shaking your fist at the sky like an old man yelling into the wind, just take a breath. Just take a step back. Markets are ridiculous. Publishing is ridiculous. Social media is ridiculous. And at the end of the day, there's still space for you. There's still space for me. And I think we can take a moment to sort of like give up this burden of hate as far as this issue goes. That energy that you're expending towards these absolutely ridiculous things could be better served in a million other places, especially in today's social climate. And that's coming from someone who is intensely angry all the time about everything. Keep pushing, keep working. You will make it one day. I will make it one day. Everybody will make it one day, so long as they just keep working towards those goals. More than likely, this is just a trend riding the highs of the romantasy market, and like everything, it will crash and burn and level back out, and then the next trend will come. So just keep working, keep your head up, and I don't think this is an issue that is as big as everybody thinks it is. I don't think this is an issue that stems from racism like everybody thinks it does. This is just a famous person getting a golden ticket to test their luck. If this dude was like a fresh undergraduate with a business degree getting hired at his dad's or granddad's private equity firm, or a son of a famous politician getting put in their state's local government right away, I would be like, yeah, this is an issue about race, this is an issue about gender, and it is very concerning for our society. But at the end of the day, he's just a hot celebrity getting fast-tracked to a book deal to test his luck. And I don't think this is something you need to burn yourself out about. But as always, if I'm wrong, let me know. If you feel differently, let me know. If I'm horrible at divulging information with statistics, let me know. I am always open to honest discourse. I'm even open to unfriendly discourse. I have to be friendly because it's bad for my public image if I'm not. Even if you are seething right now and you absolutely hate me and everything I have to say, and you think I am in the wrong and I should remove myself from the discourse, let me know. I appreciate your time, even if you hate me. If you don't mind, like and subscribe as always if you make it to the end. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you next time. I should be reviewing Joe Abercrombie's The Devils tomorrow, and I'm super excited to do that video. But as of right now, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.